What's up, guys? We're on to the New York Jets review. This team I have dead last in the power rankings. A little surprising, 32nd, but they have a lot of age and really don't have any momentum going into next season. So they're going to have to start fast if they want to have a good season next year. That said, they have the roster talent to even make the playoffs, but man, they were really playing flat towards the end of the year. So it's going to take a lot to get there. And that's not even mentioning the fact that they've kind of spent all their money. So they're going to have to do it through the draft and hope some young players step up, even though they don't really have a lot of young talent. So let's take a look at the quarterback where it's all going to start. Fitzpatrick's probably going to be gone. I like Geno Smith. If I had to guess, I think he'll be the starter next year. I thought he handled himself really well, and the whole Fitzpatrick thing was pretty unfortunate. And then he finally gets his chance, threw like 6 passes and tears his ACL. I've always kind of been a believer in Geno, to be honest. As a younger quarterback, he made some mistakes, lost his job. But I think they should have stuck with him longer. I think he's shown some flashes of great pocket awareness and great ball placement, and not to mention his mobility. And then Hackenberg also could get interesting if he has a good offseason. Onto the running backs, Forte was very impressive this year, just very steady. In my opinion, Matt Forte, a Hall of Fame running back, but he is slowing down a little bit, but still a solid guy. He'll probably have another year or two left. Powell goes down just a little bit. I'm not sure he's a number one lead back, but he's a very solid player and can really kind of do everything. So a nice guy to have in your roster. And then Kyrie Robinson is also interesting. Very explosive runner. Very similar to Chris Ivory. But he had a bad injury to start this season, so he'll be back next year. And then we take a look at the receivers. Decker goes down just a tiny bit, and Marshall goes up just a tiny bit. I think these two, it's still one of the better 1-2 punches in the NFL. And Decker actually made a little more athletic. Very, very tough, tough guard for a lot of corners. I spent a lot of time watching him when he was at Minnesota, and this guy's a freak athlete. And then Quincy Enunwa had a great season. A lot of these receivers is a reason for promise, to be honest. Robbie Anderson showed up towards the end of the year, and I really like Jalen Marshall. He's got a lot of quickness, and Sharon Peak was actually kind of interesting as well. A big, athletic receiver, another one of those guys that kind of sneaks into the league out of Clemson. So, these receivers are going to continue to develop, and it's really probably the best part of this team as a whole. And then the tight end, they have virtually no tight end. That's going to have to be addressed. Onto the offensive line, Clady goes up. I mean, he battles with injuries, but when he's healthy, he's still pretty solid. And then the rest of the lines also pretty good. I mean, James Carpenter is pretty much a stud, and then Nick Mangold has been there for a while. I've always actually kind of liked Brian Winters, a very good run blocker. And then the right tackle will have to be addressed as well, but really pretty solid offensive line. And then these DNs, it's kind of complicated how to rank these guys because these were at a time, all pro, superstar DNs, had disappointing seasons for different reasons. I mean, Muhammad Wilkerson, I think he was just kind of taking plays off towards the end of the year, which made his film look really bad. So Madden had him down as a 77 overall, which is really low. I had to move him up to compensate for that, but he should be in the 90s when he's playing at his best. So, if this team can get rolling and he's playing hard, he's going to be a star again. But I couldn't move him all the way back up just because it is pretty disappointing to see a guy just flatline like that. And then Sheldon Richardson, with off the field issues, you got to question where his commitment is. A pretty disappointing year. And I think he's a free agent, so we'll see if he's back. But he could be a guy that goes somewhere else and gets a spark with a different culture. And then Leonard Williams, I have as the highest rated player on this team. He's been great ever since he came into the league. Such a dominant force on the inside. I do think he fits a 4-3 scheme better than a 3-4. However, and the Jets kind of run multiple sets, so it doesn't really matter. But I love Leonard Williams. And then these outside linebackers is the number one point of emphasis for this team. Really struggled. Jordan Jenkins and Lorenzo Malden. I mean, just really not getting a pass rush from these guys. So that's going to have to be addressed. And I think it's a big reason the corners struggled. And the inside linebackers is fine, but I mean, David Harris is getting up there in age, and they kind of missed on Duron Lee. He'll still probably start next year, but he didn't really make an impact. And then on to the corners. Darrelle Revis goes up just a touch, but definitely struggled early in the year. I think he self-corrected and didn't get enough recognition for still being pretty solid. Later in the year, he was an 81 overall. His technique, it didn't go anywhere. His experience didn't go anywhere. It's just his physical ability. So Reva's still fine, and these guys are serviceable 2 and 3, but they could use an upgrade. And that's another situation where if the pass rush was better, I think those corners ratings might be a little higher just because they would look better on film. Then the safeties are okay. Marcus Gilchrist is a good cover safety. And then Calvin Pryor really struggled this year. I talked a lot about him as he continued to fall throughout the year. Just not only blown coverages, but not making an impact in the run game, which is what I think the Jets were hoping he would help out in. So, like I said, the Jets are going to have to start fast, get some explosive production from younger players. But, man, not a lot of money to spend, no new coach coming in. I have pretty low expectations for the Jets for 2017. So that's going to conclude this episode. We got the Lions next. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.